Thank you. Looking forward to this week. Obviously, had a bye week last week. Our guys put in some really good work. Got some extra prep. Started early on East Carolina, and so now that we're here, getting ready to start. I mean, it's right back to normal. So we'll practice this week and head out a little early for the East Coast travel and be ready to face a very talented East Carolina team. Blake Harrell's done a great job with that program since taking over. I know he was the interim part of last year, and then he's been there for a while, though. He's been there for a number of years and as defense coordinator, and now as a head coach, he's done a great job leading them. And you look at their team's complete team, watching them play and seeing them on the film just validates what we thought all along, that they have a lot of talent. We've gone against East Carolina before. I have as a head coach, and seeing the amount of talent they have in the program. And so it's not an easy feat, but we're going to go out there and give it our best shot. I know that they'll give us theirs. Extremely talented. They have a seasoned quarterback. And I remember him when he was in high school. That's how old I'm getting right now. But remember when he was at Bosco, the Hauser kid, and he can throw the rock, man, and he's very accurate. He commands that offense and doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and so it'll be a good test for a defense. It's going to be difficult because they can run the ball, but they like to throw it too. So it's going to be fun for Jay and his group to get ready for that one. And defensively, they don't make a lot of mistakes on defense too. They're very physical up front. Their back end can cover, and they're fundamentally they're really sound in what they do. So special teams, the same thing. They work really hard. So it's a complete team. We've seen it on film, and then confirmed it with last weekend's game. It's not easy to do what they just did to Coastal Carolina. So we got to be on top of everything. They definitely have our attention and our respect. So we're looking forward to that game and can't wait to get going on practice today. So what questions do you guys have for me?
Our first question will be from Dana Green.
Hey, Kalani, I know that during the bye week you came in saying that you wanted to work on the red zone offense. Have you identified any issues, and what have you done to kind of address those?
Yeah, I mean, I think we identified as much as we can from the two games, more specifically with the one at Stanford. But I think you give Stanford a lot of credit for what they did defensively. So we have to anticipate that East Carolina and other teams will do what they did, So they had an extra bye week, and when they prepped for us and gave us some new looks, and we needed to adjust to it. So now we think teams are going to try to do that to us in the red zone, and we got to be ready for it. But at the same time, we didn't help ourselves with some of the penalties and some of the mistakes that we made. But it's football. We'll get back to it. And what I did like from the team in the game against Stanford is that we were really physical, and you saw Stanford play a physical game this last weekend against Boston College. So we're going to need to lean on the physical part of the game, especially this weekend.
Next question from Jake Hatch.
Kalani, you talked about last week how you like a physical brand of football. You just talked about the physicality that Stanford displayed against Boston College. Is that what you consider your team's identity?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm campaigning for what the identity is. I just think it's two games. Let's see what happens in the third game. I think you get an identity from being consistent in something. So I think we've had two games so far. This third game will maybe play into it a little bit more, and then we'll be able to see. My job as a head coach is to make sure that we're consistently as good as we possibly can be, and then whatever everybody wants to identify us as, then great. But I feel like the goal is to be more disciplined, be really physical, and but that's everybody that puts the pads on. That's what they want to do too. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when we match up.
There can be a defense I guess not a defense, an offense you face that throws the ball a lot more than they run the football. How different is that in terms of the preparation this week?
Yeah, it's a little different. We have extra prep on it last week, and so I think we have a really good scout team that can get us ready for it, and it's just maybe a shift in mindset for Jay and for Gennaro and the rest of the coaches on the defensive side. But when it all comes down to it, we have to be able to do some things defensively to combat the highly explosive offense. And so they have talented receivers that can catch the ball, physical line. running backs that can catch the ball and run, a quarterback that's really efficient and knows where to go with the ball, and then he's not small either, so he can get up and go, and he can run too and use his legs when it's needed. So this is a difficult task, and I think Jay and the defense is going to be really excited for the matchup.
Next question from Jay Drew.
Kalani, do you expect to get Justin Kirkland back this week? And also, can you just tell us about how you came to get Anisi Purcell, why you wanted to go get him to bolster your defensive line?
Yeah, Anisi that's Yanapoha and that's Jay Hill and the rest of the defensive staff. But Sione wanted to get more bulk and more talent up front. Nothing to say against the guys that we have there before. They're just we had a senior heavy group with, I think it was you look at like Blake Bangelson and John Nelson last year. They were seniors, so we needed to bring in some new guys that can compete, and we need to bulk people up. That's why we brought Justin Kirkland back too, and so you look at him. You can't get more bulkier than 340 pounds, So he should be able to give us some size up front, and looking forward to. We'll see how it looks this week. Last week he practiced. That's a good sign, and practiced with pads on, so that's even better sign. So now we'll see how it goes this week, but he's got a lot of competition too, because there's a lot of guys that have been working and developing at at the interior D line, and so it'll be good. But it's nice to have him back at it and running the practices and being involved with the team.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, following up on the personnel side of things for this week, saw that Waylon Lapwaho's back on the depth chart. Is he going to be able to play this week?
Yep, he practiced last week and it's full go, and we're excited to have him back.
Then just wanted to ask you, you mentioned last week that this year you're going to Greenville, you're able to, I think you put it, travel differently than you did back in 2017. What are the big differences between this year's travel plans for Greenville compared to 8 years ago?
Well, I think going out the 2 days before is going to be key, but also the amenities and hotels that you can stay in. Our budget's a little bit bigger now than it was before, and especially now we're in the Big 12, so we can travel like other teams that have had to travel there. It's difficult. It's not an easy one to do, but now we can. The plan has already been in place a year ago, so just when you have more resources and more money, it does definitely help you. And we're in a different situation now than we were last time I went out there in 2017.
Next question from Kyle Ireland.
Kalani, you mentioned that Blake Harrell's been there for a few years. You faced his defense in 2022. Are you expecting a similar scheme defensively from him as far as his, being a head coach now, or is it going to be different than what you've seen?
No, I think it's very similar. I think the head coach has a footprint on the defense and the offense. It's stuff that he wants to do. It's stuff that I think, speaking from a defensive coordinator, became a head coach. You want to do stuff that you want to do, and you want to do stuff that you didn't like defending, or stuff that gave you a hard time, and then what fits you to personnel. The difference is that they have talent on their roster that can do whatever they want. When you have physical linemen, athletic skill to complement all that, and then you can decide that they just throw the ball a lot more than they run, but like they can run the ball effectively if they wanted to just make that be their identity. They have a lot of talent in a lot of different places. Defensively, it's the same thing. They could play base coverage, but they can do whatever they want because they have the pieces to make it work. And so I think he's done a great job being a head coach and being able to allow the coordinators to basically delegate, but for them to use their skills and get their side. But on special teams, it's what I try to do here. So I recognize what he's doing there, and but you're always gonna. There's head coaching duties, but head coaches watch more. I'm just gonna say this for head coaches: we watch more film than anyone else because we're responsible for it all. So we watch the offense, defense, and special teams, and the scout team because I want to see how those guys develop. So I know Blake's doing that, and his team's developing. They're getting better every week, and so we need to match their progress that they're making as a team. We need to make sure that we do the same thing, especially with the extra time that we've been given with the bye week.
Next question from Dana Green.
Kalani, I know you've gone back east several times over the years, but is there something special you do for the humidity when you go back this early in the season? I mean, it's just so different from what you practice. And is there anything you can do to prepare for that?
No, I mean the kickoff is 7:30, so I think it's just we just tell these guys we're from altitude, so when we go down there, there's way more air to breathe. So don't give me a hard time about how hard it is to breathe. It's there. That's real oxygen. Right here, we're living mile high. The air is thin. Down there, it's nice and thick, and you can even see it sometimes. So to enjoy it and enjoy not having to use lotion on your skin, things like that. So we embrace the opportunity to play in humidity and to play in front of our fans that are going to be out there making the trip to come see us at East Carolina.
Yeah, it's good for your pores. That's good.
That's what I'm looking for myself is this good for my pores? That's why we're going the extra day.
And I know you deal with this every single year, but it seems like it's coming up earlier this year. Your name's already been bantered about coaching jobs. I know it doesn't bother you. Do you address your players because they do see this stuff on social media? Do you ever address those kind of rumors with your team?
No, I don't talk about anything other than football and other than what we're doing right now as a program. And I think people have heard me make statements before. And I'm just listen. These guys need me to be focused on East Carolina more than anything else. And I've told them to avoid any distractions that come along the way. And so distractions come in a lot of different forms. And so we're going to avoid distractions. We'll stay humble, keep working hard, and then try to do our best when we show up this weekend against East Carolina. Under that, just try to keep focused on the young men. We have amazing young men and amazing culture in the program, and I just want to make sure that we stay focused on that. But I'm always down to talk to the boys about whatever they want to talk to me about.
Next question from Sean Walker.
How many years of Zoom, and I'm still forgetting to mute myself. Sorry about that, Coach. But I did want to ask about Cody Hagen, because since we last talked, I think JoJo Phil was posted online. He had surgery and everything, and so Cody's now kind of being elevated into, I'm assuming, a larger role at that wide receiver 3. Just what have you seen out of him in terms of his growth the last year plus in the program, and kind of being able to sort of accept more, more touches, more responsibility, that kind of thing? He's always been fast, but what else have you seen out of him in terms of growth?
Well, he's just now been home from his mission a little bit longer, and those of you that served missions understand that your mind thinks you're ready to go. It's just your body doesn't always agree, especially if you served a great mission. You went out there and didn't do much exercise other than ride bikes and walk. And so Cody served a great mission. He's last year I know he wanted to do more, and he just had to kind of transition from being a missionary to a football player. And now that he's done it completely, we know we can lean on him heavily to do a lot of other things. He's so talented, man. He's got speed and quickness and agility, but he also has amazing ball skills, and he's got great vision. That's why he's our kick returner. So he can do a lot of things with the ball in his hands. I just think that it'd be exciting once we get things rolling and allow him to have the ball and allow him to do some things. But the majority of the issues is just waiting for him to finally for it to click in with his body and his mind. And coming home from a 2-year mission has been really, really hard. But now that he's back, I'm glad we got him ready to roll and he's back to 100%.
Next question from Brandon Gurney.
Yeah, Shea Bryant Strother wasn't included on the 2-deep roster release this week. What's his status?
Yeah, we'll let him make any statements or any announcements that he wants to do. Right now, I'm letting him decide on how he wants to announce what's going on with him and his health. But just want to express my love and appreciation for him, what he's done for our program. So that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Is there any more clarification with JoJo Phillips' injury timeline, if you're expecting him back this year?
Yeah, not for the season. From what we're told, he's not for the season. But I think in the medical profession, they're really conservative on how they're going to allow you to come back. So it really makes what we're told is that he could come back before the year ends and play a significant amount of time. It just depends on how he progresses in the next few weeks. So that's what it's going to come down to. But I'm glad that we are going to see him back on the field eventually.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, what are your impressions of East Carolina's just overall talent? I mean, you've been a couple years going week after week in the Power Conference grind. How does East Carolina's personnel, you think, from what you've seen on film, stack up to what you see in a week in, week out grind in the Power Conference?
Yeah, they're extremely talented, and you know that area that they're in. There's within 2-3 hour drive, you can find all the talent you need in that area. There's tons of football talent there, and a lot of different football teams that recruit that area heavily, and so it's they definitely have a lot of talent. You see the talent that South Florida has. So these schools have never been short of talent and skill. So it's the same thing. I see a lot of great, and then you complement that with the coaching that they're getting, and the level of physical toughness that they exhibit. It's tough, man. I'm looking forward to the matchup, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really good for us to be able to see this type of opponent, because we see it on film, and we know there's not a lot of errors and not a lot of weaknesses, and so we're going to have to find a way to battle this thing out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You touched on it a little bit, that you just earlier, that you want your guys to avoid distractions, things like that. But how much of a chip on the shoulder do these guys have from not moving up at all, or even dropping in the polls to begin this season after what's been a pretty strong start to open this year?
Our goal has been stay humble, stay hungry. So regardless of what the rankings are and what people are saying about us, the only people that matter really the most, and there's nothing against you guys, is the people that actually can control something about it. And that's the guys that can put on the cleats and put on the gear and get on the field and do something. So we're going to rally. I'm going to rally around this leadership on our team that we have a meeting with the leaders in about half an hour. And so, we're going to meet and we're going to discuss strategy and discuss things that we do like we do every week. And then I meet with players every day on the field that they have and how they feel that the team is going and anything that may come up. And I feel like we're in a really good spot right now. Let's just put our nose down and just go to work, man. We can't control what everybody else is doing, but so far our mentality has been the same from week 1 to week 2 to the bye week, and now week 3 here we are. And I'm seeing a lot of consistency in the way that they want to work. We just want to get out there and play and compete, and whatever happens, let everybody else figure that out.
Next question from Jake Hatch.
Well, and it's an interesting situation with Hauser in particular, because he played at the Power 4 level for Michigan State, but now he's down at ECU. Can you just give a little more of a scouting report on what you see from him as a quarterback? Extremely
talented. He's an accurate passer, and he has a great touch on the ball that he throws. So it's easy for receivers to catch the deep balls. He knows when to take some off. I mean, he's got great vision with his what he sees and goes with his looks. He makes checks. I mean, he's a complete player at quarterback, and he's seasoned. I mean, you could see that he's used to being on the field, and he feels really comfortable in this offense. So, give their coaches a lot of credit. They went with him last year, I think, when they decided he was going to be the guy, and you saw a huge momentum that he was able to gain going into their bowl game and everything. I mean, this is a really talented team, and he's a very talented quarterback. I saw that when he was in high school, and so he's doing exactly what you would think of, and very consistently doing it, and getting the most out of his guys. So this will be, like I said before, it's going to be a great challenge for Jay Hill and the staff, and our guys need to be ready for this, because it's going to be a fun one. We haven't seen anything like it yet.
You partially noted this, but you're on a 2-game losing streak to ECU, having lost the last 2 times you faced off against them. Does that enter the conversation at all for you guys going into this matchup?
No, when was the last time? Do you remember?
22, I think.
Yeah, I mean, not really. We're a different team now than we were back then. We're going our 3rd year in the Big 12 now. We've made some moves and made some changes. I've learned quite a bit as a head coach since the last time we faced them. But it's not really about the opponent. It's more about where we're at currently as a program. And so I feel like we're in a really good spot right now. That I can only control what we control. I don't know exactly how they're going to come and attack us and what their strategy is against us. But that's the fun part about the game. We'll see where we match up, and all I can say is that when you watch it on film, you can see how talented they are, and you can see how well coached they are. And that's not an easy environment to go into. Their fans are going to be excited for that game, but we're just as excited too. We get to go on the road. This is going to be fun for us to go see our fans in the East Coast, but also for our guys to rally together and bond even closer than what we've been. And we're already a close team, so we feel like we can accomplish a lot when this team gets really close and loves each other and then loves the opportunity to play this game. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I feel really excited about this opportunity.
All right, our last question will be from Darnell Dixon.
Colleen, my question's about defensive substitution, the in-between plays. It seems to be pretty chaotic. It can be. The guys running on and off the field. You guys have been doing it for a while, but what are some of the things you and Jay and the defensive coaches do to make sure that they get that down?
Yeah, well, you have to match what the offense does. If they come out and they have two tight ends, then that's going to be a different formation, different personnel group when you have no tight ends. If they come out and they have four wideouts, then we wish we can have a bunch of Fred Warners and cover slot receivers with our backers, but you have to make some adjustments. So I think what Jay's been able to do is match up personnel for personnel has been really nice. I mean, I think we've stayed in our base defenses before and even asked Zay and Jack to cover slot receivers before. So we're not against it. We just I think the pace and seeing the change up in offensive coordinators, how they try to match up different personnel, I think Jay's done a great job combating that. So the offense dictates what they're going to be in, and then we have to respond to it, and then we have to do it in a timely manner before the refs give us that window that we can sub into. So it's a difficult situation, but I feel like and with the pace that East Carolina goes at, I mean, they're one of the fastest teams in the country. That's why it's going to be a fun matchup. I feel really good about. We've seen teams that have gone fast before. I think Jay's done a great job as a coordinator, calling the plays and prepping the defense for these moments. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a good moment for us to learn and see where we're at.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, appreciate it.